Aging is often described as a graceful descent into the golden years. For many, turning 70 feels like a milestone, a badge of resilience, survival, and wisdom. But what often goes unspoken is the harsh reality that the years between 71 and 75 can be among the most unexpectedly difficult of all. Unlike earlier decades marked by ambition, parenting, or retirement planning, this 5-year window introduces subtle yet profound changes that can challenge even the most resilient individuals. This article explores why the ages of 71 to 75 can be such a critical, emotionally heavy, and often isolating period of life. We'll examine the physical, psychological, social, and existential challenges faced during these years, as well as how to manage and overcome them. The illusion of stability ends. At 70, many seniors feel they've crossed a significant finish line. They've survived illnesses, careers, financial stresses, and perhaps even personal loss. But 71 to 75 can shatter the illusion of stability. Changes begin to accelerate. Routine doctor visits become more frequent. Health issues that once seemed manageable can spiral into chronic or debilitating conditions. For many, this is the period when mortality becomes real, not just philosophically, but physically and medically. One might start to notice declining vision, balance issues, or memory lapses that are no longer brushed off as just aging. This realization is deeply unsettling, especially for those who once prided themselves on independence. Health decline becomes tangible. Between 71 and 75, physical health often begins to deteriorate more noticeably. Muscle mass diminishes, recovery from illness or injury slows down, and energy levels drop. Conditions like arthritis, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cardiovascular issues tend to progress. Even if someone has remained relatively healthy into their 70s, these years can introduce a cascade of health events. A small fall might lead to a broken hip, followed by a hospital stay, physical therapy, and permanent changes in mobility. These seemingly isolated incidents can be life-altering and often signal the beginning of increasing dependency. Social circles begin to shrink. Perhaps one of the most emotionally painful aspects of this phase is the growing loss of peers. Friends, siblings, or even spouses may pass. The phone rings less often. Invitations to weddings and gatherings are replaced by funerals and condolences. Loneliness, which may have been manageable in earlier years, can now feel suffocating. For those who were once very social or involved in the community, this reduction in human interaction can lead to depression, anxiety, and a sense of abandonment. Emotional health starts to erode not from external trauma, but from internal emptiness. Identity crisis reemerges. One might assume that identity crises are the burden of youth, but they resurface in surprising ways during the 71-75 age bracket. With children fully grown and perhaps living far away, the role of parent becomes less active. With retirement long since completed, the sense of professional identity fades. If a spouse has passed away, the role of partner is also lost. This leaves many asking, who am I now? It's not uncommon for people in this age group to feel invisible, no longer needed, heard, or relevant. Society tends to ignore the elderly, and that invisibility can translate into a personal identity void. It's not just a loss of role, but a questioning of purpose. The body betrays you. There's something deeply emotional about realizing your own body is no longer cooperating with your spirit. You may feel mentally sharp, full of ideas and interests, but the body says no. Walking long distances becomes a challenge. Balance issues lead to fear of falling, and something as simple as standing up quickly can make you dizzy. This sense of betrayal can lead to frustration and even resentment. For those who have lived active lives, walking, gardening, traveling, this sudden limitation feels like a cruel joke. They are prisoners in their own bodies. Cognitive concerns create fear. During this time, concerns about cognitive decline grow stronger. Misplacing keys, forgetting names, or struggling to find the right word can create intense anxiety. Is it just aging, or is it the beginning of dementia? Some may begin undergoing tests, while others avoid them out of fear. The uncertainty can be more painful than a diagnosis. The mind, once a fortress of memories, becomes a source of worry. For those who value mental clarity, this is perhaps the most terrifying transformation. Dependency begins to creep. In a major transition during these years is the gradual shift from independence to dependence. Simple tasks like cooking, driving, or managing medications may now require assistance. For fiercely independent individuals, this shift can feel humiliating. Relying on children, caregivers, or community services introduces a new kind of vulnerability. Some resist help and put themselves at risk. Others accept it, but mourn the loss of their autonomy. Either way, it's a painful adjustment that redefines self-worth and pride. Financial worries don't always disappear. One might think that by 71, financial worries would ease. After all, the kids are grown, the house might be paid off, and retirement funds are in place. But the cost of aging, medications, home adjustments, caregiving, assisted living, can be overwhelming. Unexpected expenses can drain savings quickly, especially for those dealing with chronic illnesses or long-term care. There's also the emotional burden of not wanting to become a financial liability to children. These financial anxieties are rarely discussed but frequently felt. Grief becomes a constant companion. From 71 to 75, grief becomes more than an occasional visit. It can become a constant companion. Whether it's mourning the loss of friends, siblings, pets, or the gradual loss of one's own abilities, grief weaves itself into daily life. What makes this period so difficult is that these losses accumulate. There isn't always time to fully process one before the next arrives. It creates a layered sorrow, chronic and unresolved.